think we're ready.
Well, yeah, I'll call the meeting to order. For the record, it's 12:02. Can I have roll call?
Yes. Guillermo Cavazos.
Here.
Javier Martinez.
Right.
Louis Laveau.
Here.
Richard Norton.
Here.
Pancho Ibro.
Here.
For the record, Mr. Chairman, you do have quorum.
Thank you. All right, we'll start off the meeting. Hope you had a chance to look over the minutes. We have the minutes from the...
Mr. Chairman, before you moved on to the minutes, Mr. Jose Gonzalez and Board Member Richard Perales asked to be excused. Would you
Yes,
like to discuss?
I understand that.
Okay.
Yes, about that.
Is there a
Would you like to make a
motion?
motion to excuse?
Right.
Yes.
I need a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second to excuse two board members that are not here today. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, having said that, let's move on to the minutes. Minutes from the meeting of October 10th. Are there any questions or clarifications to the minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I just have one, I guess, point of order and maybe a clarification. On that issue that came up at the last meeting regarding the LED sign, while it was voted in favor, Mr. Chair, you voted to abstain, and according to the rules of the VOA, we're not allowed to do that.
Not allowed to abstain?
No, sir.
I did not understand that.
Well, so...
Okay, well, I can, in other words, but I think the motion carried anyway without my vote.
It probably would have, but we were 3 in favor, 2 opposed, the way it looked like you abstained. So it could have been a tie.
Well, legal
Well,
was present and they did
in other
not
words,
make a point.
What?
The legal was present at the meeting and they did not make a point that you had to.
Well, I wasn't aware, that was my first meeting. I was actually thinking about abstaining
Then what
myself.
we can do is, we could revisit that with legal. And if so, I can go ahead and change.
I don't know that we need to revisit it with legal. I have the code right here in front of me, and it clearly says that no board member shall abstain from voting unless there is a conflict of interest. I'm not sure that you...
No, there's no conflict of interest. All right, well
We'll
then,
revisit that next meeting.
in other words, I don't want to bring that up at this point.
Well, other than that matter, that's the only thing I would raise as far as the minutes here, Mr. Chair.
No.
All right?
Yes.
Do I need a...
Move to approve.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second to approve the minutes of the October 10th meeting, with the exception of a note brought up by Board Member Louis Laveau. So I will revisit that, we can revisit that at the next meeting.
Yes, we'll check
Other
on
than
that, Mr.
all right? All right, having said that, we'll move on to the first one. First point is letter A, request submitted by Diana A. Perez to authorize an exception to the literal interpretation of Laredo Land Development Code, Section 24-77, entitled Dimensional Standards by granting a variance to the setback requirements on Lot 4, Block 1188, Eastern Division, located at 2815 South Valencia Street. Is there anybody to speak on behalf of that?
Ms. Perez is here, and I'm representing her.
All right, I need a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to open the public hearing. All those in favor? Any opposed? All right, sir, go ahead.
There's the concrete was poured, and it's standing as we talk. And
Please state your name for the record.
Jesus Cantón, sorry. For the record. And stop work order was issued. A inspector was visited the location and addressed the problem to Ms. Perez. And then she decided to revert the house without a permit and let the foundation stand as it is, but move the house 50 feet away from the rear setback, which is required 20, instead of 20, 15.
Okay. We understand, everybody understand that?
What is being built?
It's a house.
Okay. There's an existing house. What's the structure in the middle?
It's a storage.
Storage, okay. And then so there's a new house on the back.
Aside from the
So the
setback.
authorization, excuse me, the permit was granted for
No,
the
no, there was no
original.
permit. There was no permit.
Oh, okay.
It was,
There was a work stop order because there was no permit for
Okay,
that. And I
gotcha.
just wanted to advise the applicant that even if they get the setbacks, you still have to go through rezoning because a second dwelling is not allowed in the current zoning for the structure.
so it's allowed a condition on R3, as long as they meet the
R3.
setback.
Yes.
It's an R3 and it meets the required density,
Mhm.
the required parking. The only thing that is wrong at this point is the setback.
Well, this is an R2 property. It's zoned R2.
Really.
Yes, and it needs to be zoned R3, like
Okay.
you mentioned, so they would
Because
have
in
to.
the
go
map
through-
shows R3, so that's why. we-
No, our map shows R2.
Okay, then we have
That's
to
our
give them
GIS.
that.
So we can visit with you later on to guide you through the process of that, which is independent from the setbacks, but every
Right, so
zone will be required.
regardless of what is brought to our board on the issue of the setback, the issue of it being R2 versus R3 would have to be a rezoning, a replatting, and that's planning and zoning.
I understand.
Am I correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So we're just here to rule on the setback.
Yes.
Right.
I'd like to table this because why rule on the setback if they don't get the zoning permit? If they don't get the zoning permit, then the setback is,
Yeah, they
Oh,
wouldn't be able
void.
to use the variance if
So,
the setback is not approved.
I
if
think
the
we should
zoning
table
is not
this
approved.
and wait till he gets the
Planning and
R2
zoning.
zoning and then come back and say, hey, we're zoned up correctly. Well, can we do the 15-foot setback?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
If we would table that, they wouldn't have to reapply, they can just, we could just recall it, so they wouldn't have to go
Because
through
we're
the
tabling
expense of
it. Because we're
reapplying.
tabling it.
Okay,
They're not, we're not denying it to where they would have to reapply.
But according, excuse me, according to the Board of Adjustment is for the setback, the R2 as well as the R1 or the R3 is the same setback. And there's an approach that she can go as far as attaching that house to the existing, making it a duplex, which will meet the setbacks and requirements by the city. It doesn't necessarily have to go to that extent to convert it, the R2 to an R3.
But did the plan show that right now?
No, it doesn't show.
Okay.
A duplex is allowed, it's just right now, with the current plans,
Right.
the two structures is separate.
So we're asking just for the setback, that's all.
okay,
But
but
an R2 and R1 and R3.
Yes, I understand that, but the plans that we have as presented
don't have it as a.
do not have it as a duplex.
Okay.
So we cannot rule on the fact based on what you're giving us, because then we would be in the wrong for allowing that.
I understand.
So, but your duplex is two separate structures, right?
Two separate structures, not separate, divided, a duplex is divided by.
But it's
It's
not a
one- it's
duplex.
one
not
structure.
No,
shared
no,
walls
that's the
At
way,
the moment,
the way
they're
he's,
separate structures.
right now it's a separate structure, yeah.
Okay, that's,
I mean, I don't know what the actual interpretation or for duplex. I thought a duplex was one common wall.
Yes, that's
It
correct, they
is.
need to be sharing one common wall, and at this
Yeah, see,
moment, they're two
but
different
if
dwelling
you
units.
connect them, and I don't know how you would connect them, because it looks like there's a storage unit in the middle. And so I don't know how you would connect it to become
Well,
one.
by definition, a duplex, it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a wall. It's, that's long as it's attached.
Okay, in other words, and
it is, and you're right.
and I understand that, but we will need to see that, from building department, we'll need to see that that actual definition to make certain that we're abiding by it. And I think everybody agrees on that, correct?
Yes, I feel more comfortable if either we see a duplex in front of us on the plans or it's rezoned. And then we
Yeah.
can rule on the setback.
Mr. Chairman, and I think like, my colleague's suggestion to table would allow the applicant sufficient time to be able to present you know, what exactly they like to do, whether they want to go through a rezoning or they want to go through putting a duplex there, so they would be able to present us
Yeah, see, if it,
with a plan.
and if it comes back as a duplex,
Yeah.
we'll need a different set of
They wouldn't have
plans.
to go through the cost of reapplying for.
No, they
for
won't
this
have
one.
to.
So that gives them an opportunity to kind of reassess what they're gonna do and bring it back to us. So I'm all in favor of the table.
You
You want to
understand?
second that motion?
I'll second.
Actually, if you do design it as a duplex with a common wall and all that, you probably wouldn't need to come back to the Board of Adjustments because then you.
The thing is, the setback won't be met.
Oh, it still won't be met.
No,
As a duplex-
that's why
As a duplex or two houses?
It doesn't, it has to go with a.
You still have the opportunity to come back to it.
Mr. Chair, I think there's a motion to table in a
Yes.
second.
The public hearing needs to be closed first.
Unless
Okay.
there's more testimony from the public.
Okay, wait. I need a motion to close the public hearing.
Is there anybody else that wants to speak?
Yeah, if anybody wants to speak on behalf of it or against it?
Then I'm going to.
If she,
¿Quiere hablar ella?
she would like to speak in Spanish. Could you
That's
do
fine.
that? Okay.
No, pero, o sea, no sé, pero preguntan.
Es que la casa ahorita como está, está separada y la zona no lo permite. Y me tiene que ser, ¿sabes? O sea, cancelar esta junta y volver a resolver, a meter los papeles como un duplex, o sea, pegado a la casa que ya existe. Para que lo puedan considerar. En este punto no lo pueden considerar porque como está separada de la casa principal, no lo pueden considerar. Solo no lo van a aprobar, no lo van a negar, únicamente lo van a dejar en un lado. Si tiene usted algo que decir, en contra, por favor.
All right. ¿Quiere decir algo?
No, pues,
Si gustan, pueden.
no, pues
Ok.
no me van a dejar hacerla, ¿verdad?
Ahorita,
Hasta ahorita,
pronto,
o si
no
no
lo
lo
estamos
hacemos,
negando ni lo estamos aprobando. Lo único que estamos haciendo es que queremos ver más información.
Oh.
Move to close.
Go ahead.
I move to close.
Second.
I have a motion to second to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, now, having said that,
I move that we table the item.
I have a motion and a second
And a second.
to table the item until we get more information on this. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, sir, we're gonna, if you'll get that information, you don't have to reapply again, but if you get the information, bring it back to us. It'll be either rezoned, or if it meets the definition of a duplex, then we can address it. Then we can address the setback requirement. All right? That's it.
Gracias.
Thank you.
All right, next one is a request submitted by Hickey Peña Architects to authorize an exception to the literal interpretation of Laredo Land Development Code, Section 24-77, entitled Dimensional Standards, by granting a variance to the lot width requirements on the north 26.06 feet of the south 1/2 of what? Is that 1/2 of -6?
Yes, at the south half of lot 6.
Oh, okay, there, I got it. And the east 31.94 feet of the north 26.06 of the south 1/2 of lot 7, and the west 23.62 feet of the south 1/2 of lot 7 of block 50, western division, located at 102 1/2 San Jorge Avenue.
We won't ask you to read that again.
I'm not, please don't ask me to repeat that. Please don't ask me to repeat that
Speaking of my
again.
good ear.
Is there anybody to speak on behalf here?
Yes, I am.
All right, go ahead.
To the way the house looks right now, if we were recommending.
For the
Chairman, can you
record,
open-
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to open the public hearing.
I was waiting for her to get the information.
Somebody's hungry.
I want my Chick-fil-A.
Between you and... Okay, I have a motion, and I need a second.
Second.
I have a motion, second, to open the public hearing. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, sir.
For the record, Rick Solis with Hickey Peña Architects. We're here, we actually have been working with the owner and community development as part of their housing rehab program. We have a lot of these types of projects. In fact, we have another one currently working on in the same neighborhood, Azteca. We submitted our plans, and the issue was that we were viewing this as a lot of record. And in order for it to be classified as a lot of record, we needed to meet the 30-foot lot minimum, the width. This lot is really narrow, it's about 26 feet wide. We're able to fit a house on there, given the state of their current residents and their eligibility to participate in this program. We're trying to give them the best home that we can give them. It's about it's 1,100 square feet.
Yes.
So all we're asking for is a variance from the 30-foot lot width minimum to allow us to build it on a 26-foot width lot minimum.
26.6.
26.6, yeah, exactly.
Just to be,
Hey,
I don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, don't get me to repeat it, it'll take me another month to read. Do we have any questions?
Your width here,
Uh-huh. So the house
you
that's there.
changed the house to make it deeper.
Yes.
So why did you need a variance on the width and not the width?
Because for a lot of record under the dimensional standards in the Land Development Code, it says that your minimum lot width needs to be 30 feet.
Okay, so the lot itself
The
is
lot
only
itself,
26, and that's
exactly.
why you're turning it this way?
Yes,
To get more.
yes. And, I mean, we're really improving the situation there. That house that's there doesn't need any sort of setbacks. We're tearing it down. We're gonna give it the 5 feet on either side. We're building a retaining wall because that's at the edge of the creek. So, I think,
And this is through like grant program?
yes,
or-
yes.
Yes, and we can, Tina Martinez, Community Development Assistant Director, just for the record, to give you a little bit more about the program. Our homeowners, nomás hablan español, so no sé si les molesta que hable,
Not a problem.
para que entiendan un poquito.
I think we're fine.
Mr. y Mrs. Valdez aplicaron para nuestra asistencia porque si ven el estado de su casa ahorita, está muy necesitada de reparos. Cuando vinieron nosotros tenemos 3 programas. Uno es un grant que le podemos ayudar a una cosita. We'll do something minimum, right? Roof repair, plumbing. It's like a Band-Aid on a big wound, right? So then there's a housing rehab program. Housing rehab is we have to bring up the program, the house up to code with 35,000. 35,000 is not gonna do nothing to that house. I have to bring it up to code, so I can. So then the third program is a reconstruction, is to demo it and construct it, following all codes, and give them una casa donde puedan vivir. Hasta I believe, van a tener driveway, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
Van a tener un driveway. Si les enseñamos un poquito, esta es la foto, si buscan en Google Maps, and that's how they're parking right now. No tienen nada enfrente. Este es en la calle Waters, así se ve para arriba. Su lot, pues sí, está como, so we are gonna be doing a huge retaining wall. The project, we went out for bid, we got a good,
Is this part of the lot also?
no, not this little section for some
Okay.
reason, it's like this.
Okay.
It's kind of L-shaped.
Yeah, it's like an ocean. So, so we are trying to help, now, ellos aplicaron con nosotros hace como, ¿hace un año? Un año, por el programa se requiere muchos requisitos, muchos commitment on their side. Ellos han tenido que rentar, se salieron porque pues ya iban a empezar la demolition y todo. Dijimos, pues no, don't do any demolition if we don't have a building permit, right? So we stopped them. Pero ellos ahorita están rentando en su propio, con eso no les ayudamos nosotros, no les podemos ayudar con rentar porque es voluntary. So ellos están rentando y estaban, les habíamos dado que 4 meses, hopefully, so ahorita se ve como que 5 meses, ¿verdad? So hopefully en 5 meses, si todo va bien, pueden volver a su casa. Nomás, otro proceso que nos tardamos un rato es de que, como este es el barrio Azteca no está reconocido en la ciudad como un historical, pero en el estado sí está. So, como estos son dineros federales, tuvimos que pedir permiso del estado del rendering, de cómo se va a ver la casa. So tuvimos que, back and forth, I believe we went like
A couple
two
times.
couple of times. They wanted 30, 60, and 90% of design completion. So también el estado nos tuvo que decir, sí, estamos de
So
acuerdo.
you've already sent it off?
Yes.
The state has already approved.
Yes, the state has approved that, and that we are within the character of the neighborhood.
Okay.
So I think it's gonna be a great
Fantastic.
addition to the,
Just a couple questions. Do they own the lot?
yes,
Part of 7 and part of 6?
that's how they sold it to me. That's how they bought it. Así lo compraron.
Way back when.
Before planning.
So it goes back long enough to where it was probably non-conforming grandfather.
Yeah. Legal non-conforming.
So,
They just bought
once
it,
you,
probably, no?
once you get this structure built in there, you're gonna have side setbacks of 5 feet?
Yes,
Yes,
And the building is gonna be 16 feet wide?
yes,
This is a 16 feet wide?
yes. There's a floor plan in
Do
there.
they meet the setback, the side setback?
Yeah, yeah, we're 26.6, we're giving 5
Side
feet.
setbacks would be,
5.
yeah.
I think we included the site, right? I
It's
think
just that the
there's-
lot width was only 26.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why building told us we needed a variance from the board.
It's gonna be like a mobile.
Yeah, se va a ver como un mobile home, kind of, this is I believe it's included in your package.
Looks a lot better.
well, it'll be
So
on,
technically,
the
what is the
foundation.
front?
Right,
The
right.
front, well, this is still the front of the lot, but the lot goes like this,
Right.
to waters,
So these would be the sides.
yes. And then
Front.
front and back. So there is gonna be a driveway in the front, so the house is gonna be ultimately moved back. And then there's gonna be a big retaining wall to secure the property.
Maybe either front yard or front yard, I don't know which.
Well, there's no really, no really.
Well, what you're saying is that this is the front on this side.
Yeah.
So what's on it?
If you
Well, that's
see,
gonna be
if you,
the-
there's an
What is this
example
gonna be back over here?
in your package that shows how the building's gonna sit.
Nothing, it's backyard.
Nothing, so it can go all the way back here?
It's gonna be approximately about maybe 13 or 14 feet.
Yeah. How far?
About 13 or 14
From that back?
from the back property.
It's included in the package, which yeah, this one, how it's gonna set on the lot.
And so as far as the setbacks, it does comply with the side setbacks and the rear setback?
For the, if we look at it as a residential lot of record, it meets all the setbacks.
Front,
With your proposed
Yes,
building?
yes.
Rick, just for clarification, the application said that the request was for the lot width of 26. Is it 26 or 26.6?
I guess the lot is 26.6.
Okay, 26.6.
Well, you heard me read 26.06, right?
Yeah, correct.
I think it's on the record. More than one.
Just clarification, since the application has 26.
Well, here it shows.
It says, yeah, here it's
Well,
26.06.
It's 26.06.
Yeah, 26.06, correct.
So it's-
So
all
this
intents
is,
and purposes.
this is the page, the site plan, how it's gonna look. So van a tener poquito atrasito, y pues eso todo es de ellos. Pero va a tener un retaining wall that, they can do something, use it for something.
Now, we'll say that probably for the next meeting, we'll be bringing another one. That one's 27 feet wide, so it'll be the same issue.
Scenario.
The one next to it?
No, it's a different.
That's not quite as long either.
Our program wants to reach out to the
Right.
most in need neighborhoods.
And we
So what we
thought
do
that.
is, we give out
really-
flyers, so we got a few. We don't get, no recibimos muchas aplicaciones a veces, en el año nomás hacemos de 2 a 3, depende de cuántos fondos tenemos, reconstructions. Ahorita tengo ya unos para next year's money, like said, hacemos livability, esos emergency, los hacemos unos 40 al año, pero sí queremos, esos no hacen tanto impacto al neighborhood, son estos grandes que hacen el impacto.
I think it's gonna make a big impact to the neighborhood. I think it's
Quality of life.
Not the negative, it's positive. I think it's great, I think you guys did a good job.
So what side, if the lot is 26.06, and the building that you're building is 16 feet, obviously it's gonna have to sit 0.6 on one side.
Well, it's 0.06. so
0.06.
Yeah, so we just, we'll have a bigger setback on one side than.
Yeah, we just wanna make certain that that's
Yeah.
just to make certain that that's correct.
Yes, that's correct, yes.
All right, is there anybody else to speak on behalf of this?
Yes, with the owners. Ellos son los dueños de la que sí gustaría.
¿Gustan decir ustedes algo?
Le estamos explicando su caso a ellos, por esa oportunidad.
Ya lo explicaron.
Cuando da la casa tiene derecho, da una vuelta también. Que tengo.
Sí.
Sí, aquí nos presentaron todo.
Está bien.
Is there anybody to speak against this project? Once again, is there anybody to speak against this project? No? I need a motion to close the public hearing. A motion and a second to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right.
Now, motion to close the hearing.
That was just a motion to close the hearing.
But I,
Now we're gonna do it.
but I move that we approve
All right,
the motion
okay.
to do it. And I think you guys are doing a great job, and I think you guys are doing a great job fixing up parts of the entire city.
A motion and a second to approve the plans as presented. Is there any discussion? Okay, if there's no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstained. I'm abstaining.
Yeah. Can you abstain?
Yeah, I have a-
He's
well,
hickey.
I'm
Conflict of
loosely related to.
Conflict of interest. All right, the motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you. Está aprobado. Todos estamos bien.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you for your work. Thank you for
Yeah,
all
that's
your work.
awesome.
And you're bringing another one next month, huh?
Yes. We have
They're gonna love it. We will be back.
Beautiful. Que todo les vaya bien.
That's the thing, Mr. Valdez, ya estamos listos.
Gran fiesta, ¿no?
Just have it ready before Christmas, dude. No pressure.
Okay,
No overtime.
thank you very much.
See, now it's the builder. Now the builder's the one that has to get it ready. Okay, third one. Third item on the agenda, request submitted by Guillermo R. Rivera to authorize an exception of literal interpretation of Laredo Land Development Code, Section 24-77 entitled Dimensional Standards by granting a variance to the setback requirements on Lot 9, Vista Hermoso subdivision located at 1512 Wild Rose Lane. Is there anybody to speak on behalf here?
En español.
Pardon?
Sí.
Okay.
Pues es que tengo un carro.
Just a minute, let me open. I have a motion to open the public hearing, second. I have a motion, second, to open the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Ahora sí, sí.
Sí, mire, usted, tengo
Su nombre, por favor.
mi nombre es Guillermo, ¿me paga?
Guillermo Rivera, ok.
Sí, ok. Tengo un carro de hace unos 25 años atrás, se me ocurrió ponerle las 3 paredes para hacer ejercicios, ya que padezco de obesidad, también alta presión, soy prodiabético y por necesitaba hacer ejercicio, se me hizo fácil hacer eso. No sabía yo que se necesitaba un permiso. Me llegó un oficial de policía, me dio una multa, bueno, la que fuera a ver a la juez. La juez me dio una multa de 1.054 por lo que no había pedido permiso. Yo no sabía que se necesitaba permiso para hacer eso. Y por cierto lo estoy pagando. Y pues realmente lo único que se me ocurre a mí hacer es esa adición para ejercicios, para salud. Realmente no tengo otra explicación, pues esa era la idea, ¿verdad?
So you'll see on your site plan, it is this structure that it's 5 feet from the property line. That it used to be, like he said, a carport, and he enclosed it, and now it's an enclosed structure, and that's what he's asking for.
But I can't reconcile the request with the drawing. I see 9'10" as the encroachment. I mean, as the, what am I not
No,
understanding?
this is a property line
Yeah.
right here, and he's saying that he is 5 feet from the property line.
It says 9'10".
I think that's part of the right of way.
9'10".
I don't see a 5-foot dimension, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Are we talking about the 327.75 feet? That structure?
I believe so.
That's this dimension.
Well, that's the exercise room.
Is that the, yeah, that's, yeah, 327
Mr.
points.
Rivera, ¿está a 5 pies del límite de la propiedad o está a 9 pies y 10 y medio?
Créame que no supe, como me lo hicieron en las medidas un arquitecto, y realmente no sé. O sea, tiene usted dice del espacio para afuera, pero
Because this is not showing 5 foot.
Mr. Rivera, ¿es el carport que usted cerró?
ajá, ándale. Sí, y quedan dos carros de allá para acá, o sea, estaba así exactamente el terreno porque tenía estas paredes y lo cerré exactamente así estaba.
Well, that's the carport.
I'm not sure I get it.
Right, but the dimensions on the plan are 9 foot 10, not 5.
O sea, desde el
I think that's
principio.
the property line, because from the curb to the property line, there's a
There's part of the right of
part of
way.
the right of way.
I think it's mislabeled on the plan.
Well, if you look at this 5 feet here, even just scaling it by eye, it's not 5 feet away from the property line either.
Que si sabe cuál es la dimensión exacta, porque aquí en la aplicación usted me puso que 5 pies. Y el señor Cavazos, el miembro de este comité, es arquitecto y dice que no se ve como que sea una dimensión correcta.
Porque es exactamente la medida así como estaba el carport. No me salió ni un pedacito más de lo que es ahí están las paredes, los dos muros así, y eso fue lo que le pusieron exactamente tal como estaba ahí, así. Ni un pedacito más ni nada más.
Go back one page.
In other words, something's not,
You're driving.
Well, I think I'm agreeing with Mr. Cavazos. It looks like that little structure is within, the setback.
Yeah. I don't know what's the problem.
I mean, the big main house looks like it's got the 5-foot setback, and then the 327-foot, square foot structure.
Looks like it's 5.5 feet.
Looks like it's further.
It's further because,
it's encroaching north-south though.
What? I'm sorry.
It's encroaching, yeah, you can see the building setback line here. So it is encroaching, but he's asking for a variance of up to 5 feet, but it's really 9 foot 10 from the property line.
Yeah, the building setback line. Oh, okay.
For the front.
Okay.
Yeah,
For the front. Oh, so the front looks kind of out of
Where's the
scale.
What's the setback requirement?
Was it 20?
20?
Is that the front right there we're looking at?
then this drawing's all wrong.
Yeah, this drawing doesn't look to scale.
I'm sorry, Mr.
Is that the front?
Yes,
Where
it's at
where
the
The
front.
car is parked in the front?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the front, so that's right here. And
What's the side
the request is for what?
5 feet?
Yeah.
For 5 feet?
His request was for 5 feet.
This is the property line,
That's what
right?
the
From the
application
front,
says, from the front.
The building setback is 20 feet from
So
the
we're
front.
talking the
50
front
here.
setback line, not
Front
the
setback.
side
It's like
setback.
the
10
front
feet
setback.
or
That's
8
right.
feet
Okay,
or something.
all right.
Something's not adding up.
And it's a 20-foot front setback?
Yeah, from the
Yes.
front?
So he looks like he's at
Okay,
a little over.
let me understand something. The building's already there.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
it's already there. It's an enclosed structure.
So why, in other words, why, if it wasn't done before, what prompted him to come
He
now?
got a citation on it.
Is it on work
Close the
stoppage?
carport.
No, it was already finished, but he got a citation afterwards.
Okay.
So he was taken to court for
So he-
that,
and he
he's
paid
gonna
his fine?
continue. Did you
¿Pagaste
pagó
multa?
la multa de?
Sí, aquí tengo. Aquí está, ya se está pagando.
Well.
Sí. Está pagando.
How long had the building been there?
¿Cuándo construyó cuándo lo cerró?
Ese me cerré hace aproximadamente unos 3 meses atrás, aproximadamente. Y hasta que me llegó el
So
oficial.
we didn't stop it during the process, right?
No, it was after.
Es que it used to be a carport, so he enclosed it for, para un gimnasio, ¿verdad?
Sí.
There used to be a carport open from the 3 sides, and the moment he enclosed it, that's the violation.
It's like using a.
Can you put those pictures up on that screen? Is there-
No, we don't have.
Well, this is Google.
Oh,
This is
okay.
a carport, so it looks that the carport does comply with the front setback. So I'm guessing this is the property line, so from the property line to the carport, it has to be at least 10 feet.
Okay, but what you're saying is, as a carport,
As a carport.
it was conforming.
Yeah.
But the minute he closes it, it's
Yeah,
non-conforming.
It's like if you want to build your home in the front yard and leave no.
So how much setback does he need?
20 feet.
And how many does he have?
He's asking for a 5, but I'm pretty sure it's just around 10 or 9.
Wait. Building front setback is what?
20 for
20.
building.
From the street.
And
But if it's 20 feet,
10 on the side.
and it's
10.
conforming now, that would have been 10, because it's a carport
Yes, sir.
with three, open on three sides.
Yes, as a carport.
Okay, so now that he closes it,
He needs 10 more.
he needs those 10 feet.
Yeah, this can be a
Yeah.
gym, like he
Now I
mentioned,
understand.
this can be a room, a living room, it can be anything. As soon as it's enclosed, we don't know what's inside.
Uh-huh.
All right, is there any other questions for Mr. Rivera?
So he needs how many feet extra? What's he asking for?
15, isn't it?
15?
Yeah, going from 20 to 5.
It's not adding up. What
That's
he
what
needs,
he's saying.
according to the site plan, is not jiving with the request.
Yeah.
There's a discrepancy of 4 foot.
So, I mean, we can't authorize without the right information.
Would you like him to revise, to go back to his?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a
drafter?
reapply.
No. If you would like to table, he can go back and revise it as it is. Que no parece que está bien la petición de 5 pies que está haciendo, como está el plano, y están considerando posponerlo para que revise la petición.
That's pretty close.
Porque
No.
como le pones
So really it's going from
20 to 5.
20 to 10.
hasta ahí es donde se
Right.
Entonces ya no-
I know, Erie's
no estaba
asking
así.
20 to 5.
Hasta aquí es.
But if you look
no
at
estaba
Maybe
así.
less than 10.
The photo, basically, because of the fact that he enclosed, now
Yo
what
no me
was
pasé para
good
acá, ese yo venía, todo esto-
as a carport is not good now
Eso me lo-
as a
no
structure.
sé.
But the request is asking for more than what he
Right.
really needs, so.
Right.
He's asking for more?
How long is it?
Another 5 feet.
How many?
5 feet more?
So,
Because his car.
here's the property line, right?
Which
Yes.
means,
Yeah.
He's asking for 5 foot setback, that would be here. But the building's only, it's back here, so he doesn't need it, that
Well,
extra.
Edgar says that it's conforming as a carport.
As a carport, it looks that it might have those 10 feet.
yes.
That's a property
Almost
line.
guaranteed. He's got a car parked there now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
And it's conforming.
the minute he
But he's asking for
closes
5
it,
feet, so we don't
and
know.
he loses the capability of reducing 20 to 10,
Right.
and now that 10 foot would be, that's what he's requesting.
Right.
But he's written down as 5.
Right, exactly.
So to clarify it,
So he can, if you guys want to postpone it, he can
bring it
make
back.
the change in his application to.
Just to get the
I understand
measurements
that
right.
is what
I
it
think
is.
not so much the drawing, but the measurements have to be accurate.
Well,
Okay.
just make certain that everything is, kosher on that, in the sense that he's asking for 5, that he really is not asking for 5. The way it appears is that it's 10 that he's asking for, but let's make certain by either going and revisiting it and looking at it and verifying that.
I don't know
But
what it is,
anyway,
Brian.
I need a motion to close the public hearing.
It's 15, it's like each 10.
Yeah.
Order did the application.
Move to close?
I-
Or what?
A motion to close the public hearing. A motion to close, motion and second to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, having said that, I need a motion to table.
Table.
I have a motion to table until we get this clarified on
Yes.
the paperwork.
No additional
I
cost.
have a motion and a second to close the public hearing.
Yes.
I mean, a motion to table the item.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Señor Rivera, es que lo que está pidiendo 5 pies de más. La petición dice 5 pies de más. Entonces, queremos estar seguros de lo que estamos viendo primero. Entonces, porque en realidad lo que hizo el cuarto de ejercicio es a los 10 pies, pero usted está pidiendo 5 pies más. Queremos verlo bien, no lo estamos negando ni aprobando, para poder tener la información correcta y el mes que entra lo vemos. Pero no lo estamos negando, ¿ok?
Yo le marco en la tarde y le
yo
explico
regreso
cómo va.
entonces,
cómo va
aquí,
a
yo
suceder.
regreso.
No, a lo mejor no es aquí, pero yo le marco
Sí,
y le doy
pero
más detalles de
regreso
lo que
para-
tenemos que
Ok,
hacer.
gracias.
Pues muchas gracias.
Gracias a usted.
Que pasen buen día. Gracias.
All right.
This would be approved if it's stainless. You could actually build 5 more to the building.
Hang on, I'm trying to get to it. All right, the last one, request submitted by Aaron A. Bondoc to authorize an exception to the literal interpretation of Laredo Land Development Code, Section 24-77, entitled Dimensional Standards, by granting a variance to the setback requirements of Lot 8, Block 98, Western Division, located at 511 Farragut Street. Is there anybody here to speak on behalf?
I am, sir.
All right, I need a motion to open the public hearing.
Move to open.
I have a motion and a second?
Second.
And the second to open the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, sir, go ahead.
For the record, my name is Aaron Bondoc. I'm here to, I guess, ask for 2 things mainly. I purchased this house, it's on 511 Farragut, and I'm asking for the variance for the setback requirements
On the front and on the side, looks like.
Yes, on the front and on the north and on the west to stay the same. And I believe the second, I guess, variance that I'm asking for is to allow me to build an additional 700 square feet right in back of the existing property. And
What?
So that addition, just to put it on record, that doesn't need a variance because he's complying with the side setbacks. So it's just the front and the west side that needs a variance because it's not in conformance.
okay,
So the addition is fine.
Yeah, you're saying the front is the north side
Yes.
and the west side would be,
Wait. On this plan, where's the street?
It's just the north arrow is incorrect. This is
yes, that's the only the plan.
This is the street?
on the plan, where should the north arrow
So
be?
please asking
Yeah,
for this side.
it's where the Farragut is in the bottom, the
Yeah.
north is this way.
Okay, north is up. Z.
But it says existing house. Is it already built?
He's gonna
Yes.
demolish and build it.
Demolish and rebuild?
Okay,
But
so
what he's
this
asking is
is,
to keep the current setbacks.
so this is,
I'm not, just to clarify, I'm not planning to demolish it, I'm just gonna remodel it, I'm not planning to break any of the walls. The only thing that I'm planning to do is take off the roof and put a new roof, and maybe some drywall on the inside and stuff like that, but I'm not planning to break the outside walls.
So why, does he need a, why
Well,
does he
he,
have to?
he originally got sent to our department because of the addition. The thing is, this is a legal non-conforming structure, and in order to add more than 5%, he needs to come to the board. So when he's adding that portion, he's gonna comply with the side setbacks and the rear setbacks and the new addition, but it was
Well, he's gonna
because he was
comply with
gonna, he was
East
gonna.
side setback.
so it's already not complying, basically.
Yes,
Yes.
with our current standards, it's not complying.
Okay,
And
so,
since he's gonna add more to a non-compliant structure, he needs to come through the board.
Since he's adding this back part.
and you're saying
Then
the
it
addition
triggers.
and the new carport?
Yes. That new portion will be in compliance, but it's because he's adding to a non-conforming.
It triggers the legal non-conforming
Right.
house,
Mhm.
and that's why he's before us.
That's
It's not the actual new structure he's gonna put in the back.
Mhm. And he did mention that he wanted to, oh my God, that picture is horrible.
It's a little dark.
Yes, apologize for that. You can't even see it that well.
Yeah, it's,
But I believe, Mr. Bundock, you have pictures that you wanted
I
to show
do,
them
but
as
not
well.
from the outside, I only have them from the inside.
And
Well,
let me
Can you
pass
them
you
down?
around.
Anyway, let's-
You know,
let's
let
do
me
it.
pass you around our original copy.
They're
too.
horrible pictures, but,
We need better photographers.
Somebody went a
It's the printer,
little
you know,
too
it's-
late in the
So the
day.
Yeah,
north
it's the
side,
printer,
which would be,
we've been having.
that side is already,
Yeah,
is at zero setback.
It's the
That
front,
zero
the
setback, right?
front
Looks
chair
like
is-
mold.
he's already at zero
So
setback.
you're really kind of like,
Right there.
you're refacing what's on the outside. You're not really like tearing anything down outside.
Right.
That's
You're refacing,
Right.
kind of like a little facelift of it.
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there's the arrow.
Yeah,
So we're looking at
It's a
the
nice
west
structure.
side,
and on the outside, it's a nice.
and then he's
looking
looking
Yeah.
at the north side, right?
North side is,
That's exactly what I wanna do.
The front?
Reface it.
Which is the front?
this is the front.
Yeah, that's a nice little
Mr. Chair, on Farragut.
Historical?
On Farragut.
Or
The
no?
front is on Farragut
How old
Street?
is it?
Yes,
How old is your building?
Front of the house.
Oh, there you go.
That's the actual front of the
There you
house.
that's what.
It's a
the
good
webcam
picture of
says.
the front of the
A
house.
lot better.
How old?
Supposedly it's 1799, that first,
1799.
that first structure, that first piece, the one that looks like
Yeah, I
cement.
need to.
And are the walls solid brick?
The
You
walls
don't
are.
qualify for anything under the Heritage Fund? Foundation?
Forget heritage, historical.
And
Historical people are.
Mr. Wanda, what are you
Yeah.
gonna do with this house? Are you
Yeah, they
gonna
might.
use it, rent
Well,
it?
I
put my store and they stopped me.
Because
He-
I work downtown.
He's
so
not gonna knock any walls
So it's
down.
gonna be a resident?
It's for me, yes.
Okay.
So basically, you got a non-conforming structure that you just want to add to.
That's correct.
In the back.
Yeah, and the only thing you're actually doing to this
But in the
structure,
back-
is a little refacing
Yeah,
and
he's
a
okay.
roof and like
He's
that.
okay.
Exactly,
Okay.
yes.
So it's still gonna remain a legal non-conforming, I mean, based on whether we approve or not,
If he
right?
gets a variance, he will be good to remodel and add it, as long as he, you know.
As long,
But
but
the variance request
we condition
is
our
not for
acceptance?
something that is legal non-conforming right now. He's legal non-conforming, he's already on the north side
At
the
zero.
west.
and at zero, and on the east side, no, on the west side at zero.
Zeros.
And it's already there. We're not gonna tear anything down.
No.
We're not gonna add anything to it, obviously.
No,
But you couldn't even.
But on the south side,
yes.
you're gonna add, but you're not requesting any setback
No.
problem there.
That's
No.
correct, he's
Gotcha.
still in compliance.
It's probably gonna be safer now than it was.
That would be nice and looking.
Yeah.
So I had a question, and I guess to you, or to the chair. Can we condition our approval based on, and say, so long as you don't add, well, you could even, if you wanted to, I mean, so long as you don't exceed the zero setback on the north and the zero setback on the west, we approve?
Not that I know, we've never placed any restrictions,
Yeah.
we've made that
Can
comment with
we
you
can't condition
before.
our-
I asked that question once, we can't
Yeah.
conditionally, like if you tear this down, we'll allow it.
We can't condition approval?
That's not,
That was the directive from legal a while back.
Well, I
We
mean,
can revisit that with them.
you gotta-
and see.
you
Yeah, as long as your plans don't change, especially with a newer structure in the
Yeah,
back.
but plans
You
change,
know, that-
plans change, which means you can condition on the fact
You
that.
know, as long as you're not approaching with a newer structure.
but if these are the plans that he submitted for his application,
I have no problem.
Then that's what he's gotta do.
yeah, right, in other words, we would make our decision based on these plans. Now, if he went and changed the plans, then he's not in conforming, you know.
And simply for the fact that because of the structure he's putting to the south, it triggered the front
Yeah.
house to have to come back here.
Mr. Chair, I say we close the public hearing.
I second that motion.
I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Now,
Thank you, Edgar, for that.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, considering myself, I mean, what I'm looking at and what the house could become, I'm inclined to make the motion to approve his variance. Considering the age of the building and everything, and what he's gonna use it for, my motion is to approve his request.
Second.
a motion and a second to approve it based on the plans as presented. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I would just, and this is totally not anything that we're making any conditions on of anything. I would just tell you, you may want to just check with historical, because many times they get involved with any time you're doing anything to an old structure.
And you're keeping so much of it too, you know.
Yeah.
You might
Yeah,
have to-
I mean, you're doing what I would, I mean, personally, what I would consider you're doing a good job keeping the structure in place. But I think they think sometimes really funny. Totally different. They think real funny. The minute you pull a nail out, I mean, all of a sudden you've done something. So you may want to just check with them.
And just, if you check with them, you may get some type of federal grant or something to redo a building
Yeah.
that's over 100 years old.
Well, you also may get a tax credit.
And it takes,
Yeah, that's true.
or they may stop you. I don't know.
I mean, that's just a recommendation.
But, thank you, gentlemen and ladies.
You're approved.
There it is, there.
Good luck to you, man.
Good job. Yeah, good luck, Mr.
Thank you very much for taking care of that
And
area.
it's gonna get signed by the chair as soon as we get that ready. I'll
Make it
get it also.
Huh?
I'll
This house,
send
the
you
one
an
that they
email
did?
with the
Yeah.
copy. You can pick up.
What is he? You could.
I know, were these the matters that the city wanted us to address, which was the,
Yes, it was the second case with community development.
okay, that's the one they had?
Yes.
Okay,
We're,
no,
we're.
we're
that's the
done,
last
right?
case of the
Motion,
case.
not motion, meeting closed, I mean, meeting adjourned.
Why don't you guys,
Turn this thing off.
Is the meeting over?
Let me stop recording.
oh, the recording's
Or we
live?
can keep recording.
Yeah.